have Lisandra Vázquez. She is hot and she has a very powerful Latina energy. And I talked to her about growing up in Puerto Rico, what it's like to have a big warm family that likes to dance and listen to music and have a good time. We also talk about our favorite Broadway musicals and we talk about comedy. Shocker. Please enjoy. Hello, welcome to Nerdy For, the podcast, where we find out what people are nerdy for. We have a special guest today. Pew, pew, pew. We have Lisandra Vázquez.
Woo.
Did I say it right?
You did.
Golly. All right, why? I did it.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So you are wonderful. You're amazing. How long have you lived in Atlanta? You're an Atlanta producer, actress, comic. You make a podcast.
Yeah.
You do everything.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in Atlanta, and where did you grow up?
Oh,
wait, and then I'm going to ask you what you're nerdy for after that.
Okay. Well, I lived in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta in May of 2021. So I haven't lived here that long.
Oh,
I was
that's like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was in LA for 13 years before that.
But you're so nice.
I know. It was really hard there. I'm so nice. But I'm from Puerto Rico originally.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you really quick. Lisandra, what are you nerdy for?
Oh, Puerto Rico.
Hey-o. There. We got it.
Yeah, there we go.
So,
I'm very nerdy for my culture, especially now as I get older. When I first moved from Puerto Rico to the continental United States, I was 8 years old, and I had to acclimate to American culture. And so when you're coming in to learn about this culture, you try to assimilate to it. And sort of one of the things that my parents did a good job was keeping our culture in our lives, and we were always going back to Puerto Rico. But you kind of lose a little bit of it when you're trying to be super you're a kid in school and you're trying to fit in to the American kid. So we lose a little bit of that. So now as an adult, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and go taste all the foods and go back home as much as possible, and really because it unlocks a different part of me to go back home and do all that stuff.
I am fascinated by Puerto Rican culture. Part of it is language, part of it's food.
Yeah.
And then energy, right? So let's start with language and then
Well, so we speak Spanish in Puerto Rico, and most Puerto Ricans also will speak English.
Is there a funny accent?
Well, we do. So we kind of don't say the S's at the end. We get made fun of because Puerto Rican Spanish is a little bit different than the Spanish of other. So we'll be like, ¿cómo está? Instead of ¿cómo estás? Yeah, instead of hola, ¿cómo estás? They'll be like, ay, ¿cómo está? And they'll just cut off the S a little bit.
And was there a th there too?
No, that's Argentina. I think that's Argentina or whatever, or whatever the other. There's other countries that do the Barcelona.
Yeah, the Spain.
Yeah. That's not us, but it's just we're known for cutting off the ends of S's. And I actually had to go to a speech pathologist when I was little. When I was little, because when we kind of speak a little bit of Spanglish. So I was learning to speak English, I had to go and unlearn the way that things are said. So for example, in Spanish, in Puerto Rico, we say, this would be instead of saying I'm going shopping, we would say voy shopping, and that's how you would say that you're going to the shop. Voy al shopping, okay. And that's a Spanglish way of saying that I'm shopping. Or I'd be so I had my CHs and SHs reversed, where I would say
adorable.
Instead of saying mommy, I want a sandwich. I would say mommy, dame un sandwich.
Oh my God.
And so that's super...
Oh, did you have pigtails? Thank you, Santa Claus.
I had glasses and bangs. So
adorable.
But I had
There's some people in Boston that could use this same kind of training around their words.
Yeah.
They get real squirrely with R's. They're putting them in places they don't. My mom's name is Linder. It's supposed to be Linda.
Oh, I love that. It is specific.
It's specific. So Boston's squirrely with R's, and Puerto Rico is squirrely with S's.
Yeah, we just don't like to put them at the end of words.
You know what? You do what you want to do. You're on an island.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then there's Puerto Rico is a melting pot of different cultures that have come together, right? There's what are the different cultures that have come together?
I recently looked up my 23andMe, and it's a really fun
China has all of your DNA information.
Yeah, 100%. Take it. What are you gonna do with it?
They're gonna clone you because you're hot AF.
Pay my student loans. Yeah, figure out how to pay my student loans, and we'll talk.
Oh my gosh! What if they start putting the student loans attached to people's DNA, and that's how they find you? Then they know. Oh my god,
that wouldn't be good for me.
That's big.
Because I'm planning on disappearing. So my lineage is technically from Spain. It starts in the Iberian Peninsula, so it goes from there, picks up a few family members in West Africa, and then it's Taino Indians are the native of Puerto Rico, and those are also that's 15%.
You're a perfect mix.
Yeah, so it's like the slave trade is my it's unfortunately that, but that's the story of Puerto Rico. Too. Yeah, the conquistadors, the colonizers came and essentially just ravaged the island.
Yeah,
and
they probably grew things. They have
we have sugar, we have a lot of sugar cane, and they make a lot of rum. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's where that rolling R comes from.
Yes, the rum. Yeah. Bacardi.
You're a perfect mix because that's all the different kinds of cultures that came in there. I wonder which culture was the one that decided that we're not having S's anymore.
I mean, I think it's just probably not the colonizers, because they like to add things. They like to add to neighborhoods. They don't really. I mean, they take away rights, but they don't like to. They like to add.
Yeah. Okay. Spanish, speech impediment, but adorable. You have all the perfect blend of all the folks that were populated there. So you're OG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I really like about being Puerto Rican, and especially as what I love right now, Bad Bunny is a really great example of what it's because he's a little bit younger, and so he doesn't have the same kind of shame.
Who's Bad Bunny?
Oh my god,
who's Bad Bunny? Joel, do you know who Bad Bunny is?
Do you know who Bad Bunny is?
I'm not super familiar. I know of the musician, but
Okay, so Bad Bunny is he was the most streamed artist on Spotify in the world.
Oh, cool.
And he sells out stadiums. He's a Puerto Rican. He's a reggaeton rapper, and so he's the first Latino to headline Coachella this year, which is really great. And he doesn't speak English at all in basically anything that he does. So none of his songs will he speak English, and he won a Grammy, and he opened up the Grammys this year, and then in his speech he just spoke Spanish. And because I know a lot of artists will get the crossover to America pressure of speaking English and making music in English just to appease the American audience, but he's just nah. And that's what I love about him. And I feel even though we're artists in different respects, I'm very inspired by him because he owns who he is in such a very powerful way that I love that. And it also makes me be more proud of where I'm from. It's a very small island. Puerto Rico is 100 miles by 35. It's a very tiny island, and to have and we don't have show business isn't a thing that people do. Not really in Puerto Rico.
I think what's really cool about it is the buildings there are from the 1500s, 1600s. They're very old. There's a very old culture that's there, and you have more street cred than parts of Texas. Right.
Right. Yeah. And so for people when they grow up in the island, they usually will either they'll leave for more opportunity, but the people that stay, you usually have a trade of some sort. My mom and all of her siblings had to go to college and get a job, pharmacist, a tech, it's just that's just how it is. There's no such thing really as creative careers. It's not really an option. My mom's a doctor. So she's disappointed that I do this, but yeah,
it's okay. Do you have a sister or something that can take the pressure off? There you go.
And my brother has children, so I'm the one that gets away with just being the fun one.
I'm an only child. My poor parents.
Yeah,
very bad at making money. My mom's a lawyer.
But I'm my mom's favorite for sure.
Oh, that's sweet.
I'm the one that calls her.
That's really sweet. So you're a good bunny.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so yeah, a good bunny, not the bad bunny.
I'm curious, so my friend Jose is Latino, but he's from
I've met him.
Yes, you have.
Yes, he's so cute.
He is from Californian. So he's a Californian Latino, which means he's an hour late. What's like the kind of cultural whoopsie doozies in Puerto Rico?
We drive like maniacs.
Oh, really?
That's one of the things. Like, I don't know if you've ever
Your
been.
island is too small for people to be driving crazy. You're gonna fall into the ocean.
Yeah, but it's also too small to be following those rules. So you gotta like figure out how to drive. It's like chaos. If you can drive in Puerto Rico, you can drive anywhere.
That we went there for spring break this year, and there was definitely people like, oh, I guess you can use the shoulder as a lane.
You can use the shoulder as a lane. I suggest that if you want to turn faster, just cut through the gas station. There's no problem. I see no problems there.
Oh my goodness. Are you a good driver here in Atlanta?
Absolutely, 100%.
Are you a nanny? Why are you talking like that? Like, I'm a great driver. I definitely have never been arrested for having too much marijuana in my purse at Coachella.
I'm Latina. Of course, I've been a nanny before. That's how I've made my money from.
You know what? It's the comedian's route too.
Yeah, it is. It is true. It is true.
We had Catherine Blanford here.
Very flexible nanny job, or not, but you get it. You get to work in the day, and then
you can have material about children and not have to ruin your hoo-ha pushing them out. There you go.
No notes.
No notes. Okay, so crazy drivers, small island, speaking Spanish. Oh, maybe you guys are taking the S's off because you don't have time for that. Just like you're driving.
Yeah.
So is it really quick? Because there's so many Puerto Ricans that moved to New York City. That sounds like, is that a very similar energy? The fast pace.
Yeah, we're fast paced, but we also love to party and chill. Like we love to extend a celebration, for almost too long. Christmas starts at after Thanksgiving, sometimes before they'll start to decorate, and then it lasts until January 6th. So after January 6th, because that's Three Kings Day, it's not the insurrection. I mean, it is for y'all, but for us, it's Three Kings Day, right. And that's a big holiday for us. So we don't take away. We love to find a day. I'll call my dad, and he'll be like, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, it's a holiday, and I'm like, okay. So they just don't work on the random holidays, so it's fun.
Yeah,
that's kind of European, I think.
It's the Catholic
part. Yeah. Where they just they're like, all right, we're just gonna, it's some random Founders Day or something like that. We're taking the day.
Yeah. Taking 2 weeks off, is it a week or 2 weeks? Because in medieval England they would take 2 weeks off and people were not allowed to work.
Oh no, but people are still poor and have to work. But it's the mindset of being like, oh, I'm allowed to chill. No, everybody still technically is working, but we party more.
Yeah.
So we're hard workers and we're still working, but we just party.
Take me through a party that you would love to do. I'm ready. I want to go to this party. What time do you show up? What's your first drink? What's your second? What are you eating? What are you doing? Are you guys listening to music? Do you guys break out in dancing? Is it a musical? Tell me if it's a musical.
I wish I could say that it was a musical, but if it was a musical, it might be a little boring. So the way that parties in Puerto Rico start is you usually have an abuela or someone that's starting to cook in the middle, early in the day, if not days before.
What's early
to start
to
prep?
For 6 a.m.?
Yeah, whenever old people get up.
Yeah.
They get up early.
They get up early. No one's there to see it.
No one's there to see it.
Like a tree falling in the woods.
Yeah, they don't need a lot of rest. They've lived a long life and they're just trying to get ready. So because they'll, depending on what's cooked, so we do these things that are called pasteles that are plantain based, because for example, Mexican cultures, their crop is corn, so they're natural, and so our natural crop in Puerto Rico is plantains. So a lot of our things are plantain based. So pasteles are like tamales, I believe, but then instead of corn, it's plantain.
Is it plantain flour?
It's I might be butchering because I've seen it done. I've never made them myself, but I think they boil the plantain and then they cook them somehow, and then they get to make a dough. and then they blend it. So it gets,
Oh.
that's how they, and then they have to
Sounds
put
gluten
it.
free.
I think it is.
Does Gwyneth Paltrow know about this? Should we call her?
It's also a solid eventually, so she doesn't eat that. I'm sorry, she doesn't eat. But it does get you put the I'll call it the masa. So it's like the mixture. You put it on the plantain leaf, and then you fold it, and it gets. You put some like other vegetables and stuff in it, or some meat, whatever you want. Just like put that little flavor in it, and then you fold it, and it looks like a little present.
Yeah.
And you put them in the refrigerator, and then you boil them later. Eventually, once they've coagulated, or that's disgusting. I hate that word, but it's like once they've
Is it moist?
Once they've firmed
I just coagulated in my pants.
I hate that. But once they've firmed up, then you can cook them, and they're delicious, and you can have them with all sorts of stuff.
That sounds like the one that's the corn husk that's wrapped up as a present.
Yeah.
I
think they're tamales.
Tamales.
Yeah.
I was testing you. You did a great job. Okay, cool.
So we would cook, like we would have food.
So you have like a mountain of them in the fridge.
You can have a mountain of them.
Okay,
and then
you pull them out and start cooking them right before they're gonna eat.
Yeah, right before they're gonna eat. You have a lot of like we do like arroz con habichuela, so you have like rice and beans. And then do you have like people picking at food throughout the day? There's music on always.
What kind? Is it,
well, it depends. So it depends on the vibe. Okay. So early-ish, it's usually like a nice like salsa, bachata. Like there's like vibes happening there. And then as the night gets harder, then you go into like the reggaeton.
What's bachata?
Just like a different, like
How you spell it?
Bachata. It's just a different rhythm.
It sounds delicious, whatever it is.
Sounds yummy.
Does it go with the salsa?
Yeah, you dip the bachata into the salsa, and you get a party. Yeah, you get a party.
I want to try. I'm really into Spanish music right now, but it can, every time I put it on, or Latino music, I get hungry for a margarita.
It triggers your vacation energy. Okay. Yeah.
And then what was it? So you salsa, a bachata is like a heavier salsa.
Yeah, it's like a chunky salsa. It's gonna be.
Okay. I'm paying attention to music. It's music. Okay. And then what's the like hardcore one? Does the abuela like the bachata?
Yeah, of course. Like, okay. But like then you start getting into like the more like reggaeton is like the more like hip hop. It's like a Spanish hip hop.
Oh, reggaeton. What kind of sauce?
Yeah. The reggaeton is gonna be more of a mole. If we're going into sauces, I'm
so hungry right now. Okay, we're good. Okay, and so is this getting like more towards like a rap vibe? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
All reggaeton songs have a specific beat underneath it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, this is gonna be. I'm regretting that I'm doing this.
Do it on here.
It's like dun 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 dun, and then it's sped up or slowed down depending on the tempo of the song or whatever. But that's the bass beat of a reggaeton song.
Is there specific dances that go with a reggaeton?
No.
Okay.
I mean, other than
it's not like salsa.
Can I curse?
Yeah.
Other than ass clapping, I'm not sure.
I tried to do that at dance class today. I was not successful.
I would love to see you trying to clap your ass.
It's a bunch of middle-aged white ladies in Sandy Spring. It was a delight.
Oh.
It might have been a hate crime, actually. Oh, Lord.
I would love to see that.
So, okay. Salsa, reggaeton, music. What are you guys drinking? When do you start drinking? Is abuela hammered by 10 a.m.?
Abuela doesn't drink, but because my abuela's dead. But this is a hypothetical abuela situation.
Okay.
But they do. There'll be beer around. There's a lot of beer energy. I think that.
What kind of beer is typical there?
Whatever's cheapest.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a Puerto Rican beer called Medalla. That's really good. And that's usually the one that you'll see because it's probably the cheapest.
Mm-hmm. How many of those can you drink personally? 35?
100. Yeah. I have a problem. This is an intervention. No, I can. And then there's all sorts of like, we make this moonshine. People like everyone. Okay. So everyone has a different kind of way that they make this moonshine called pitorro, but it is like they'll be like, hey, you want some of this good stuff, and then someone has fermented this like really strong alcoholic beverage from like coconut or something like that, and everyone thinks they have the best recipe.
Yeah, I love this. I love this energy. Everyone's coming to the table with their version of it.
Yeah. And it just tastes like
what does it taste like?
Like rocket fuel.
Oh no,
like coconut rocket fuel. But you'll get hammered if you have enough of it.
I bet.
And by enough of it, I mean like a shot glass.
They so moonshine is like a thing that they do in the hills around these parts. Yeah. And like one time a friend of mine got his dad sold cars, and the guy like bought a car with a moonshine.
Yeah.
And I tasted it. It was supposed to be peach flavored. It did not taste like a peach.
You're like it tasted like rubbing alcohol.
Yeah. And now I don't have eyebrows.
You're like, yeah. And that's
so when does like the okay do you guys start partying? I'm just curious because I get tired now at 10 p.m. and I want to hear about cultures where people can actually stay up.
Oh, people stay up. So there'll be a table. There's always a table of someone playing dominoes. Oh. There's like four. There's usually like an abuelo, someone, and then some kids. They'll be playing dominoes. There are at least 4 people around that table. That's happening. There's people dancing. There's other people cooking more for some reason. And then there's kids playing. And yeah, I would say just a lot of eating, a lot of talking crap, and always no babysitters. So that's one of the things that we had that are different. That's like we never had babysitters. We're just always at the parties. So you'll see like a couple chairs strung together with a kid sleeping with somebody's coat over them instead of a babysitter. Yeah, and that's how we roll. And that's why I can sleep through a lot of things. Well, I've become more of a wimp with age, but I used to be able to sleep through anything.
I feel I have like, yes, I want to be like, I bring your kids places. Hopefully they'll sleep. Like they get used to everything. They learn to roll. I was an only child. My parents brought me places. To this day, the sound of like glass and like ice and a drink going like this, I'm like, oh, it's night time. Because they partied so much. But sometimes like when we're out driving around in Atlanta at night, and I'm like, oh, that's a toddler, and it's 11:30, and guess what kind of culture they're from? But they learn to sleep in different places, and it's so much more friendly because like our culture, my like uptight white people culture, it's every child gets its own bedroom and they sleep in that from the beginning, and the door's locked, and like, why do I have abandonment issues? I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know.
But why do I have boundary issues? I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Right. There's definitely cultures where everyone's on top of each other. And I like secretly long for that. I also secretly long to be a sexy Latina. Like this is like I might want to like imagine something sexy. It's always a Latina lady, and she's fiery, which uptight white ladies are not allowed to be. We're supposed to just be like, it's okay, whatever you want.
Yeah, well, white ladies are fiery, just in a different way. It's more off-putting.
Yeah, I think it's because we bottle it up, and then it comes out weird. It comes out as Karen's.
Yeah, it's not the right
It comes out at the gas station on a stranger. I want to fire someone who doesn't even work for me. Where'd that come from? I'm sorry, I just blacked out. Sorry,
It'll come. You are fiery. It's just it'd be hitting different.
With the hormones changing, it's getting worse. And also like I like in my imagination, there's like a barefootness in the kitchen, and I know how to cook, and I don't burn myself, and I'm not feeling inadequate in the kitchen, and like I can like squeeze limes with my hands and not have it burn my eczema. And I know how to make guacamole, and I can eat spicy foods. I tried to eat spicy foods in college. I wanted to be cool.
I love that you tried.
For a long time.
Other people experimented with their sexuality, and you experimented with hot sauces.
I have a slutty tongue. And I tried, and my husband to this day, like we were just at dinner the other night. I'm like, oh, there's a little spice in this, and he's like, when we first met, you loved spicy foods, and I said, like, I was pretending.
I'm like, I wasn't lying.
I was trying to be cool. I was trying to get a boyfriend.
But it worked out.
Well, yeah, I captured him, and now I just eat mayonnaise and cheese-based items.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. You're kind of quiet today, Joel.
You're so cultured. I'm enamored by how well you're representing white people right now.
I'm like the chairperson of lame and dorky. So that's my sexy Latina person I want to be in my imagination. And like she can speak to birds. No, that's the Disney princess one. Okay, so when does the in your night, like people are what kind of dancing are they doing? We're gonna get off this party in a second, but I'm just taking notes because I'm gonna make this party happen.
No, yeah, we're still at the party. So
is it salsa dancing or is it
it's salsa. It's salsa.
Do all the men know how to like they call it shag dancing here, where you like you take a girl and you twirl her around and you step back, and like it's kind of like swing dancing. They call it shag dancing. Is it like boys and girls and like your uncle's not creepy when he does it?
So
like
Caucasian. Yeah. No, it's shag dancing. No. The men are typically the ones that lead the dance. So for me, whenever I dance, like I will dance with my uncles in a non-creepy way. But like that's the fun of it, is like once the music gets turned on, you can like if somebody knows how to lead, it doesn't have to be gendered either. But like you can just like kind of like, if you know the basic steps, if someone's a good leader, you can follow it, and it's so fun.
And this is a salsa.
Yeah, salsa, bachata. There's just like different.
That's the name of the dance.
Yeah,
and the music.
Yeah, there's different. There's different ways. Merengue. There's different ways to dance to these music. To the music, because they all have different bass rhythms, kind of like the reggaeton. That's kind of like the base of all of them.
So it goes off the rhythm, and then you know which dance to do, and you all know the dances.
You listen to like, oh, this is a salsa, and then you can come up with a.
I was born in the wrong culture. This sounds like living in a musical.
You would.
Do people sing along sometimes if they know
No, I know, and wait for it, because there's a lot of like traditional songs that we sing. So eventually, once people get real crunk, and then we want to turn the music down a little bit, someone will bust out a guitar and start singing like these like traditional. I don't know if Americans have something similar to it, but I mean, I guess it's just like classics, like, but they're like songs that are very particular to the island, and
like folk songs, or are they popular music from the 20s?
I think it would kind of be like a folk song. That's would probably be the best way to describe it, but it's like a song that a folk song that tells a story, and people will sing it together, and everybody somehow knows the lyrics. I don't know how. I think maybe just exposure, but that's how usually parties end up, with people singing. And then
do people do harmonies?
Not really. I didn't say anybody sang well. I just say they sang, and people do it. After
enough moonshine, everyone sings.
Yeah, well. Everyone sounds good to them, at least.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. At least they're selling it.
Yeah.
And then when I was growing up in upstate New York in the snow, where no one's singing or dancing and no spicy food is allowed.
No joy.
We had square dancing classes at school.
Fun.
Like that was part of our gym class.
Yeah.
Is we had a square dancing part.
Yeah.
Did you have that? Did you have gym class at school in Puerto Rico?
No.
Not square dancing, but salsa dancing, merengue dancing.
No, I think you just that stuff you just learned at home, like at home, and we did have like some traditional dances that we would do, but you just kind of learn it, because from like everywhere else we didn't do that.
Okay, because you're being social and you're bringing your kids places, and they're not isolated in a basement in upstate New York. I'm not bitter. I'm just my mom's listening. I love you so much, and I'm glad you're a lawyer and you made all that money so we could fix my teeth. Yeah. And thank you, Dad. He worked too. Yeah. So
I like that it's just for the teeth, nothing else.
Dude,
provided shelter for me.
I had a lot
locked
of bad
me in a
teeth.
basement. Left me alone at night.
I didn't get any sunshine. I think that's how you get good teeth. You have great teeth. Look at you. You're out in the sun.
I also had braces.
Well, those are good too.
Yeah.
You still have your teeth. Mine are a lie.
Veneers.
And then root canal. Okay.
Sounds painful.
See how we're doing on time. Okay, we were going to talk about musicals a little bit.
Yes. I love that you have this.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. let's talk about musicals. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk. Well, at the end, we'll talk about your podcast.
Okay.
I already told you about my sexy Spanish lady. Okay, you brought some playbills.
I brought some playbills that were handy. These are not all.
Those are from California.
Yeah, because
you've had these for a long time then, because you've moved. Like you keep them.
Yeah, I keep them. I keep them because I also. So this one, well, I will say that I keep them just because I like to have the memories, and I like to also look at this is where I get nerdy about it, because I also like to know who was in the cast when I saw it, and I like to go back on it, especially if I see an actor somewhere or on a show that is like, oh, I did Wicked, and I'm like, oh, in New York. Oh, I wonder if she was the Elphaba that I saw. Because, like,
right.
I have this Wicked was from the
It's hard to tell because they all have a green face.
Yeah, they all have the green face and they all have the same costume. So, like, it's hard to tell. But, like, this one was the last time I saw Wicked. I've seen Wicked a couple times, but this time was special because it's the first time I saw it on mushrooms. And that was a great experience. 10 out of 10. Can't recommend enough. It kicked in right when she was singing Defying Gravity.
And you were too.
I was too. Yeah. And it was the lights were
circling the airport.
Yeah, the lights were coming out green with all that, like, ooh, it was great because it had like the fog and everything. Because for this one is at the Gershwin, so it's their home theater. The only times I'd seen it before had been like at the Pantages in LA and other things. So it's different when you see a touring musical because they're adjusting to the location and the stage, so they're compromising.
It's I just realized
I went to trap doors and things like that.
I went to New York 2 weeks ago and I saw the Book of Mormon in New York, and it was
that's good.
Much better than seeing it at the Fox Theater. That's huge. Like it was, we were like right up on the stage, and like
much better experience
to see it in New York. Sorry, touring cast.
Yeah,
the Fox Theater.
They get it. Yeah. They get it. I did see. Harry
Potter, they can only do that in New York. Those Harry Potter musicals,
because it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much staging.
What was wasn't the Spider-Man musical? That was like one of the most dangerous ones, right?
Right, and then you can't tour. That's That's too much.
Is it still going? Did they ever get it off the ground, or did it get canceled?
I
think that it stopped. Is that people just kept getting
dying.
Like, did people die in it?
I don't know. I know there was. We're gonna start rumors. People died.
Yes, rumor mill.
This one is,
what's it called?
This one is Mr. Saturday Night with Billy Crystal. I saw this for my birthday last year. Great show. I saw it. I knew that I wanted to go up to New York for a couple days to see a musical for my birthday, and I saw that he was doing the show because I could have gone to like any of the musicals, but this was limited time only to be able to see Billy Crystal on a show, and it was
What's it about?
Lovely. So it's really cool because he did a movie called Mr. Saturday Night 30, 40 years ago. Yeah, it's basically a story about him like being Mr. Saturday Night Live, and in the movie he played him. He had to be aged up to be the age that he is now. It's super special because then now in the play, he was playing the age that he was aged up to and had to be aged down.
Right.
Which was funny because obviously you have to suspend belief because he's like wearing a wig and all that stuff like that. But it was so cool because the same actor that played his brother in the movie played his brother on stage.
Oh, so this is the second one-man show-ish kind of thing that he's done about his life then, because the other one was about his father and every Sunday or something, like a bunch of numbers in a Sunday.
Probably. I'm not familiar with that one, but this was so phenomenal.
So it's about his life, or is it about?
It's like loosely based on.
It's about
like
just a comedian.
It's about a famous comedian like that was on a program that was kind of like SNL. So it's like basically it's loosely based on his life. A Jewish guy who was like it's basically his life, but
but it's not like autobiographical.
No, but what's cool is that on the stage they were able to use a lot of like his like clips of him as a young man and like as an actor, so you saw it was so cool to experience. And then like
nostalgic,
it was a really special experience because then also you're watching. I cry all the time.
Did people clap when they saw the old clips? Because that's why people laugh sometimes during a comic set, because you just say something nostalgic and people are like, I remember that.
I remember,
and it makes them laugh.
Oh man, and to see him when you see someone like Billy Crystal, you're like, oh, that's why you're Billy Crystal, because he's so special. He pops off the stage and you're just like, can't keep your eyes off of him, because he's just so
Star quality.
Yeah, you're like, oh, now that's, and everybody else was fantastic, obviously, and but like you're like, oh, that's it's just like, that's why you're Billy Crystal. I cried. I saw this one. Well, this isn't a musical, but I brought this one. This one's called The Power of Sail. I saw this one when I was in LA last time.
This looks
it's a
dark.
play. It was a little dark.
The playbill has a Molotov cocktail on it on top of books.
Yeah, was dark subject matter. However, Bryan Cranston was in it. And it was so good, because like, you know, you see him on TV and all this stuff, but like getting a chance to see him, I think it was a small theater, the Geffen, I believe, and so we're getting to see this amazing actor like literally 20 feet away from us, and he was crazy good, and he had to carry, like, I was like, he was playing like a character that ended up being like a little bit darker, and just watching him go through that arc, like in the same room, I was like,
yeah, Bryan Cranston's amazing. He's just such a good actor.
What a privilege it is to be able to see some of these people live. Like I had a chance to see God of Carnage with Marcia Gay Harden, Jeff Daniels, and I'm escaping. He passed away.
You're such an LA person because you can name all the people's names for like really quickly.
Yeah,
I don't even know his name.
But no, you get to see all these shows, and then of course I'm saving the best for last. I don't have my In the Heights one, but I have so I got to see. We'll start with In the Heights.
Okay, yes, and I want to ask of you because as we're talking about Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who I used to call Manuel Miranda.
Yeah,
I did that on stage. I got in trouble. I can't do words, and a Latino comic gave me shit for it. And so I would love to hear about In the Heights.
Oh yeah,
and what your relationship, if any, is to like the Puerto Rican area in New York City, because you didn't live there. So it's not
definitely didn't live there. But so when I first saw In the Heights, I saw it at the Pantages in LA when they were touring the first time, and so I got to see Lin play Usnavi, which was phenomenal. And he, I mean, the whole cast was excellent. It was great. But for me, I was just like, I didn't know what to expect, because my friend Kevin just like, he's like, hey, I got some, let's go and try to see it. You know how you get like the last minute lottery tickets?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we got like the $20 tickets. So we ended up randomly getting good seats and we're watching it. And then I'm like sitting there and I'm watching this beautiful musical that's speaking Spanish and English at the same time. And I'm just like, I was like, this is for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then of course I like afterwards I was just like listen to the soundtrack and I play all the parts. I do a lot of performances of In the Heights by myself, where I play all the characters, and it's just such a beautiful story because like it touches on so many and then we can talk about what I thought about the movie. I thought it was miscast, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Everybody has opinions. But I just think it's really powerful because there's so many ways in which it captured different stories of like immigrants that come in, where it's like Nina, who had to go to Berkeley to be excellent, she went to Stanford or something like that. And then like all of the stories are really amazing, and then the way that they weaved from Spanish to English, I thought is a really honest and accurate depiction of how we actually integrate into America. Because there's some people that you'll see write Spanish or speaking, or like people that speak other languages, and we don't talk like that. We'll just like, I'll just be talking to my mom and I'll be talking to my mom in English and be like, tú sabes, you know, like I'll just like slip into one sentence in English and one sentence in Spanish, and then I'll go back to telling my story. Yeah. Cause there's just like a
completely
faster,
fluent.
Yeah. And there's like a faster way for me to say the thing in Spanish.
When you're learning a language and you're old, you don't get to play like that.
Well, you have to. I have faith in you. You just have to immerse yourself into
still working
a language.
on the English, dude.
Yeah, that's fine.
I took Spanish for 8 years. I went to Spain. I didn't I still can't do Spanish, but
Maybe
I did
like-
kiss a lot of boys. So and a good time.
That's a different language.
Yeah. I tasted Spanish.
Yeah, you did.
That joke was written for me by Nathan Owens. Nathan Owens, brand name human. His special is playing on YouTube. Okay.
Catch it now.
So yeah, because as
This will air. This will air later, but I'm gonna see Nathan Owens later tonight because he's on our show.
Oh, he's so funny.
Yeah, I love
he's
him.
so funny. I see, like, representation is so important. So I can
Yes.
just imagine. I one time saw a musical about a casserole, and I just couldn't.
and you were so affected.
No, it's like yeah. It has a cream base. Are there old potato chips crumbled up
I'm
on
like,
the top?
Is there a cashmere
That's our
sweater
gourmet.
nearby? Because I can't. Yeah, that's you. Honestly, and representation is important.
Yes.
So I love that you feel seen.
Is there an uptight white lady looking out the window and grasping a cup of tea? And it's snowing.
Yeah. Just trying to measure, like, if her neighbor's lawn is too tall. Like,
Not in my neighborhood.
No. Well,
Oh my gosh.
but that was my first introduction to Lin-Manuel.
Yeah.
And his body work. And so I became really like, I don't know how you are when you see a musical that you really like. I play the shit out of that soundtrack. I
still only listen to Hamilton when I jog.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah. So, and whenever I take long drives, I will do a couple performances of Hamilton. That's how I can measure it.
It was
Yeah,
It was a matinee
going to Nashville
and the evening show.
Yeah, I got to take a quick break.
It was a Saturday.
Between the rest of the vocal cords, and like, saying no to this was a little weak that first time. Let's go back and hit it that second time.
in line getting your water at the gas station.
Yeah, I'm just giving myself notes. I was like, okay, I stumbled a little bit on my shot, but I'm gonna get it back the next time.
Okay, so he in between,
I have a good story about this.
In between doing In the Heights and Hamilton, he worked with the West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
They did a remake of it on Broadway, and they put the Spanish into it.
Yeah.
And the guy Sondheim, who originally wrote, was the lyricist on that. He's like, we should have had Spanish the whole time. This is not authentic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. He got to work with Sondheim, and then he writes Hamilton. Oh, what do you feel about the way Puerto Rico folks are depicted in West Side Story?
I've never seen West Side Story.
What? I'm gonna flip this table.
On purpose. Here's the thing is that I was just like, because people ask me that all the time, and I have no interest in seeing it because it feels like to me a caricature of like, it feels a little like, it's not like black. I mean, it feels a little minstrel show to me. Like,
it was in the 50s. It was like a long time
so
ago.
it feels a little like, oh, this is like putting on brown face. This is what it would be like to. So I just like I've never been interested in it. I know what it is, but I've just never been interested in seeing it.
Have you seen? Okay, you haven't seen any of it. There is one cool scene where they're dancing in the.
I think I should watch the new one because I've heard that the new one is good because
More authentic.
Yeah.
They have a dance scene in a gym, and they have they yell mambo, like they yell the names of the dances, and then they dance the shit out of it. Like they're real, like it was beautiful.
It's
dancing.
like education for the whites as to like what.
How do you
brown
move a
people
hip?
do.
Ouch! I pulled my hip bone.
Yeah, so I just
What do I do with my teeth? I stick them out. Okay.
Yeah.
The teeth are a very important part of dancing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they cover. That's how they teach you how to do timing. They're like, 7, 8, and on.
With eye rolls. Okay, so you haven't seen it, don't want to see it, might want to see the new one.
Yeah,
I
mean, I'll watch it eventually. Maybe I just there's so many other things that.
What if Amy takes you and she pays for it?
Oh. We call that Make-A-Wish. I go with Jose.
Yeah. My Make-A-Wish would. I mean, I would see it if it was in town. I just haven't. Again, I haven't had the opportunity to see it live or the desire to see it on my spare time.
Yeah, no worries. Like,
you're like
I think you get to pick which
Amy's
profiles.
Amy is gonna kidnap me, tie me to this chair, and make me watch it.
No, I won't. And actually, because for me, I'm at a point where I can't watch sad things. Oh. I will cry and it won't stop. So I can only do happy things in my eyeballs because the hormones are
no,
not
we don't
bueno.
want you. We don't want you. We don't want that. That's so sad.
It's scary. My husband's like, you're not okay. I'm like, I know. I shouldn't have watched West Side Story. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's hit Hamilton, and
we
then
can
I'm gonna
hit
ask you
we
some
can hit
questions.
Hamilton.
How much of history did you know going into that?
I feel like a scholar after watching Hamilton. I mean, I knew what we learned in school. You know, like the
George Washington was black.
Yeah, obviously, that's the first and foremost. That's the most
Hamilton
important thing. Not that his teeth were made of wood. He was a black man, obviously. But no, about the Reynolds pamphlet, or that's what it's called, right? And like all of those things that like Jefferson, with the Jefferson coming back with the Louisiana, like all the things I knew about.
Oh, good for you.
Like,
yeah.
But because I'm a little bit of a history buff, mostly art history, but I knew a lot of stuff. But it was kind of, I felt cool to contextualize it in what I mean. I know it's like fiction, inspired from real facts,
real things
happening. But I don't know. I love it. So I'd listened to the soundtrack before watching it. So and that was like when I saw this at the Pantages in LA. I hadn't. That's before the Disney Plus version was available. Now people can see it, and it's and they can contextualize some things. So when you're listening to this thing and you're imagining what it can be, you're missing a lot of the physical cues and like the light changes and things like that. For example, with the King George, when he's so funny and you don't understand that the light change, like when he says, "I'm so blue," and then he does the light changes about him being sad, and that's a huge moment of laughter. That usually gets a huge laugh, but I love that. The story that I have, I bought myself a ticket to see this on my birthday because I knew I wanted to go see it. And
did you go by yourself?
I did go by myself because it's an expensive ticket.
It's
like $500-ish dollars, and I'm like, I want a good seat, and I just want to go see the show, and that's how I want to spend my birthday. Yeah. And so my boss at the time was working for these very rich people, and they offered, they're like, oh, we can pay for you to go see it. And I was like, great, Venmo me that money. And they were like, no, but we want you to come see it with us. I'm like, oh, so you want me to work? Because I was their assistant. So I was like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. And so I wanted to go on my actual birthday. And so I go, and I'm sitting there. I got pretty good seats. It was I'm on the left side of the audience, and I have I'm 10th row ish, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Great decision, Lisandra. And then I'm looking around, and all of a sudden this woman is behind me, and she starts talking to the next she starts, hey Vanessa. So there's this row of people here in front of me, and this beautiful woman turns around, and I look at her, and it's oh, I didn't really immediately recognize her, but then the person sitting next to her looks at me, and it's Kobe Bryant.
Oh.
Right? And so I know that Kobe Bryant, my birthday's August 23rd. That's the same birthday as Kobe Bryant. And
on your birthday, you're sitting next to the Kobe Bryant in the same theater.
Right. And so what do you do?
Dude.
Other than I made eye contact with him, and I go,
happy birthday.
Hold on. It's my birthday too. I'm like, it's my birthday too, Kobe. And he was just like, oh, well, happy birthday. And so we kind of had a little exchange, and I was like, well, enjoy the show. And so it was him, his wife, and the two older daughters. Then two of them have now passed, but it's that's my, I could have died happy.
I feel like
really
you have the energy
moment
where you are popping into celebrities all the time and having coincidences in your life.
Oh, I have people think I'm making stuff up. I feel like Alexis. Yeah. Do you know watch Schitt's Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Alexis Rose, name dropping, just when I was there, I was like, oh, Lionel Richie was there. And it's just why was he? No, he just happened to be there.
I mean, if you do live in LA, though, you just run into a lot of celebrities.
Oh, you do. And it sounds like I'm making stuff
are
up.
Everywhere.
I was going to say that your whoever's passed in your life is a really powerful energy, and they're pulling all these strings for you, but that's just me being a spiritual crazy person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. I was visiting LA once. What's the actor's name? He plays Fugues on Barry. He's really. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I love him. Yeah. I don't know his name.
I saw him walking his dog. I was my friend's house that I was staying at. He was just like, "Hey, you can stay here, but just during the day, I need you to walk my dog." I was like, "Yeah." So I was just walking.
Like, yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." I'm walking the dog, and I was like, I didn't talk to him because I was like, "He's walking his fucking dog. I'm leaving him alone." But yeah, like it really is. It is cool though. Like you're just like, "Oh hey."
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that was just my great experience. 10 out of 10. And I was like, I could get a picture with him, but I was like, no, it's his birthday. He's with his family, and pretty much everybody left him alone.
Yeah,
because
they're there to see Hamilton. Who knows if people even recognized him? If they're there to see Hamilton, they might not be into basketball. I'm just saying.
I was like looking at the show, and then like every once in a while, I'd look over to see if Kobe was enjoying himself, and I was like. Stars are just like us,
They're just like us. When they watch an amazing, like once in 100 years hit like Hamilton, they actually enjoy it.
Would it have made you feel different about him if like he was like yawning during it and just kind of like, man, like checking his phone or?
I don't. Yeah, you know what? I think maybe I would have been because I love him so much. I would have been like, you know what? I feel like Kobe's stressed today, and I would have been like, Kobe must have a lot going on, obviously, and he's got a lot on his mind.
I feel like
I feel like maybe somebody's reaching out to him, that somebody's crossing boundaries, and he's with his family. I think that somebody else is obviously being rude. That's how much I love Kobe.
Okay, should we do our rapid?
Do you want to talk about your podcast first?
Oh yeah. Rapid fire? Sure. Yeah. So I do have a podcast called Hot Comics.
Yeah.
Calientes.
Wait, does calientes mean sexy in Puerto Rican Spanish?
No, it just means hot.
Like
caliente.
Okay, because is it Colombia where it's caliente is sexy?
Well, it's you can, when you describe somebody as caliente, it is like describing somebody's aesthetic, but technically it is like, oh, it's hot.
Okay, because I kept saying
like caliente.
It was some Spanish speaking folks, and I was eating spicy food, and I kept saying it's caliente dentro mi boca. And then I found out later that meant sexy. And I was like, oh, I was sexually harassing those fine gentlemen.
Just don't speak in other languages to people.
Or English.
Yeah. Just stick with the one you barely know.
It's a problem.
No, in the words of Gwen Stefani, don't speak.
Don't speak.
No, so we've taken, this is a little inside, behind the scenes stuff. I got bit by a dog. And so it's Christmas. I got bit by a dog. It punctured my nail. I'm not going to show it because it's disgusting. It's growing out. But like it punctured my nail, my brother's dog. And so I've had like nerve issues.
Oh.
So, it's terrible. But like I've had so with what I do for a living, like if you like fine motor skills. So I've had to pause like editing the podcast. We've shot some, but like I've had to pause like putting it out there because it's just like it took a lot out of me to even just do like my regular job.
Yeah. Can you do it with your left hand? I'm just kidding.
I know. No, I wish I could. My mom was like, you can be ambidextrous, Lisandra. And I was like, no.
I had elbow surgery in my right hand, so I had to do makeup with my left hand. And I was like, I'm a pretty girl. Just a real big eyeliner.
Yeah. Imagine if I was editing documents that I'm getting paid for with like, I'm a pretty girl. Right? Like energy.
Yeah.
No,
it got better.
It's not good.
You do get it.
Yeah.
We're all going to have a stroke. So you got to practice using your left hand.
I'm almost done with the physical therapy of it, but it affects you all the way. Like,
I can't believe
nerves. That fix you.
Did you sue your brother?
No.
That's what an uptight white lady would do.
I know.
You're too familia.
I know. Believe me. But it hurts. It hurts more that I can't because family. It's so fun. But
is the dog still biting people? Or was it
it was an accident.
Oh, poor baby.
It was an accident.
I'm glad you're better. But the podcast.
But yeah, so my podcast. So the podcast is where we interview. So the premise of what me and my business partner Brandy Younger do is we take the touring and headlining comedians that are coming through town and try to make it accessible for people who don't have access to going to clubs or time or the energy. So like I know that there's a lot of comedy fans that like you can watch the stuff on Netflix, but you're not really going to get the up and coming people unless you have like Don't Tell Comedy does a really good job of this, but also that to me that's shorter form of doing their sets. You get a little bit more personality with them. We were told by a talent agent that they use our podcast to scout.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Can I be on it?
Yeah. So like that, and I was like, well, that's super flattering, but also like, okay, that's a service I'm providing.
Yeah, that's good. It's got some eyes on it.
Yeah, so they, that's what they, because you did our last Vinoteca show, right? Yeah.
Yes.
He was there.
Oh.
I didn't tell you guys.
Oh.
Hilarious.
There was a scout?
There was an agent. Like
An
one
agent?
of the, like one
He
of
didn't
the,
like me.
well, he didn't book it. Like he didn't like, but he's got eyes on. So I didn't tell the comedians that obviously, but like he was there in like the front row, the right hand side.
What kind of agent?
He's like the
Double?
double agent. Yeah.
He's going reporting back to Russia.
No.
No, but he was there, and he's a really good guy, and I think that they're very selective as to who they take on. But he's got his, like, he's always looking for talent, from what I'm understanding. He hasn't signed me yet, so I was like, can't have that great of taste.
Amen. You had a killer set that was tight.
Thank you.
Your set was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
But anyway, so that's what we do, the podcast, and we produce some shows here in Atlanta. Just trying to make it work.
You produce a show at the City Winery.
We do one at Vinoteca. It's a 2 monthly shows. We have one at City Winery and one at Vinoteca, which is a wine shop in Inman Park, and it's wine based.
You know what white ladies are good at?
Drinking wine.
Heyo.
And you know who has money? The people who drink wine. So, because not everybody wants to go to the breweries or like a grungy club.
Yeah.
Like
sometimes you don't want to stick to the floor. Okay. You're going to lose your flip flop.
Yeah.
When we first started dating, I was drinking wine and my husband would get so mad. And he'd be like, my bottle of gin is $30 and I get so many more drinks out of it than your bottle of wine. And it is more economical just to be an alcoholic and go straight gin all the time. Okay, yeah, you have a really cool podcast, and you're a fabulous producer. The shows are so much fun that you had cheese dip at the last one. I think that's why I liked
Honestly,
you're just really getting the white women out. Cheese dip and wine. You know.
I know. I'm gonna slide off
my little white woman trap.
That is
Charcuterie and
that's what I was
wine.
saying. You just put the box over it, and then you got them. I got you. Yeah.
Give me $30.
Oh my god!
To get out and enjoy this comedy.
Do you know who I am? Do you know where my children go to school? All right, let's see here. We're going to find out how nerdy you are.
Okay, great.
Because I feel, I'm just coming in as from like, I'm going to guess.
I do want to point out, she brought theater bills that she's kept, that playbills. So
and these are not all of them, guys.
Yeah.
These are just the ones that I display.
And you did research before you came to the podcast. So I feel like you're going to hit hard on the nerd. But you're encapsulated in this sexy, warm, beautiful voice, beautiful eyes. So it's like you are the powerhouse. Okay, here we go. Right. Have you ever been to Comic-Con?
No, but I've worked around it. So because I'm in San Diego, I've worked satellite events around it.
Photography?
Yeah.
That's how you say that word.
Photographizing it.
That's in Spanish.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a unicycle?
No.
Okay. Do you ever play a woodwind instrument?
Does the recorder count?
It can count. How long did you play it?
Well, as long as they had us play it in elementary school.
Do you still have it?
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've retired that instrument.
Do you have a cape? Have you ever worn a cape?
I've worn a cape, for sure.
Yeah. Do you have one at home?
No. But I have nipple tassels.
I don't think that's in the nerdy
you don't
category.
Think that's in the nerdy? But it's because, here's the thing. It's because I went and see Dita Von Teese once, and I thought that the costuming, because they end up, I've never worn them. I think I'm going to give them Matthew English. But I was inspired, and I was like, once I got them, I was like, what am I going to do with these?
Right. Because you have to figure out how to wiggle them.
There was one lady that could do it this way, and then it was like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. You have a nice loosey goosey T-toss to get enough propulsion.
I don't think I was really confident the night of the show, and the reality is that that's not really me. So that's why they're in a drawer.
I think if you had enough moonshine, you'd pop them on.
I'd be like,
let's go.
Let's figure it out. Yeah.
That sounds fabulous. Okay, have you ever held a ferret?
I'm not a white person. No.
Oh my God.
I'm sending this clip to Learn More right now.
Oh yeah.
Why, is he held a ferret?
No. She just, when Learn More Gymnastics came on, she just kept asking all these questions. She kept being like, "I'm not. That's white women shit."
I know. Learn More and I get along really well because he's like everything from Zimbabwe and Puerto Rico. He's like, we're like, are we the same? Yeah.
Right? Because the African culture came over to Puerto Rico.
I love Learn More.
He's so nice. He was our first guest. Yeah, it was awesome. Oh, a coin. Do you have a coin collection? Have you ever had a coin collection?
I think didn't all of us kind of try to collect those when the state ones came out?
The quarters.
Yeah, when you're like, oh, this. Yeah, everyone tried to like collect one, but that was. No.
Yeah.
No. Like Beanie Babies. Like it had its
did you have
time.
Beanie Did you have Beanie Babies?
Yeah.
Did you collect them?
Yeah.
Did you make your investment happen?
Did
it pay for college?
Did I get a good return on my investment?
Did it buy the Hamilton tickets?
Yeah, I wish. No. It did not
Ticket.
pay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
plural. Do you have a Harry Potter wand? Did you get into all that?
No, but I've been to the wand store where they like I've been to Harry Potter World.
What would you say with a Harry Potter wand?
Expecto Patronum.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how old you are, but I have friends that like legitimately thought the Hogwarts letter was coming in the mail every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're younger than I am.
Yeah.
Do you have a sword or been made to hold one?
If you've dated a guy that's in art school, you've been to a guy's apartment with a sword, and they like to make you hold that sword and then think that I'm gonna hold their sword.
Ayo.
You know, it's just not.
It's like you want something long and hard.
Yeah, you want something. Yeah. You want to see the samurai sword, and that's If I see a man over 30 that has a sword in their apartment when I walk in, I have a lot of. He better be super hot.
You better be holding that
I still have questions, but otherwise I'm gonna be like,
oh my gosh. Like,
gotta go.
ideally, it's like a great-great-grandfather's. And he's like, I didn't know what to do with it, so I put it on the wall. Now we use it to cut limes when we make margaritas. That's like the perfect person.
You're right.
But if it's any other one, it's like,
I know that this is a giant sword, but I have it for practical use. Like, no, I don't. But I have held swords.
I wonder if people can become aroused when they hold some part of the
people become aroused with
everything. You know
anything.
what? The older I get, the more I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'm just.
There's a lot of Reddit forums that have specialty niches.
My children told me I'm not allowed on there.
Yeah. Okay. Then no, that's probably good.
Protecting me.
That's for the 100% for the best. Yeah.
Art school sword boys. Okay. Have you ever had an aquarium?
No, but that's another white person thing. Like my mom's, I know people who have had aquariums and they become very invested in it's
their whole identity.
Yeah, it's like ferret people.
It's like ferret people.
That becomes their whole personality.
A terrarium. That's you know what it is.
Yeah, well, I do know. It's it's the same as an aquarium, but dry.
Yeah. Because you have the fish, they die. You have the container, and you're like, "What am I going to stick in this?" And you go outside and you steal a lizard, and you stick it in, and then that dies in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and then your mom says, "No more."
I mean, you have to feed things.
Yeah, you do have to feed things. I just think that like the animals that you have to keep in a container are not. That's not for me because you have to clean that cage. I had one of the people that I used to work for, the people that I was an assistant for, they had turtles, right? And they had, and guess who had to clean the turtle
Turtles
environment?
Are nasty
it was
too.
Nasty, and they'd be like,
"Are they sexual and on Reddit? The turtles?"
Actually, turtles have really weird penises.
Oh,
they do. I mean, do you not?
Is it like a sword?
We were like, it comes out like kind of like long, and then the end of it plumes out because since they have the shells, they have to be able to like insert it in, and then it plumes so they can stay. Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
The barbs
they
on
look
it.
weird. If you're listening to this, go ahead and Google turtle penises, and
turtle
it's weird.
weenies. Ducks have ones that spiral. A spiral weenie.
Yeah,
it looks like a corkscrew.
Yeah, that's because there's a lot of rape and stuff for ducks. That's what
And
I
duck
love.
culture.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw a
Drilling.
duck getting raped in middle school. We had like a little green area outside the
And you
classroom.
still try to touch all the animals you see.
Somehow,
It would
yeah,
not,
doesn't
like,
learn that lesson.
I think it was geese, and it was
Geese are mean.
It was pushing down the lady's head with his beak and just having at it, and her feathers were saying, "No, not today, Satan." Okay, sorry.
Family friendly show. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, the animals are the worst, and all the animals do it doggy style. And that's just a theory. Why is it called doggy style? It's not fair to the dogs. Anyway, do you know ham radio? Do you know what that is? Like Morse code.
I just know like SOS.
Okay. Oh, do you have anything in particular you have to do for living on an island and there's hurricanes? Does that were there sirens that would go off and you guys had to go high or go low or go under a desk? What do you do?
I mean, just stock up. Like you just kind of like stock up on food. Hurricanes are more like scary to people who don't have to experience them because they don't. It's just like if you have a house that has like shutters and you have like my dad. Like people now have like generators and things like that. So like my dad has like a generator. My parents aren't together and now they're both sharing an island, so it's fun to try to decide who to visit first. It's a fun game, but no, they have generators and then the things that they put over the windows. So there's like a lot of ways in which like the people that get devastated by the storms are the people that live more on the countryside because if they're on lower ground. So it's better if like my dad is on a higher area.
Do they get flooded or the wind gets them?
It's the flooding and then the winds. If there's super high winds, they'll knock down the power lines and it just creates this like. It just sucks. And it's the poor people. The people, it's like with everywhere. Like the poor people always get affected the most, impacted the most negatively by natural disasters. Yeah.
So do you know how to like cover a window fast with like some plywood and some hammer and nails? Is this like a secret thing you can do?
No.
Not with these nails, especially the severed one.
Especially this one, I'm not really doing the manual labor.
Got nerve damage.
I also haven't lived there since I was 8 years old, and I lived in LA for 13 years. So like I'm really good at like earthquake.
Can you run from fire and mudslides?
I'm not rich enough to live in a mudslide area. So that's where I would always tell my mom, she'd be like, oh my gosh, it's like there's rain and there's mudslides. I'm like, I'm not on a hill. I'm in the concrete. If anything, just like if there's an earthquake or just like riots.
Yeah.
Worry for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Riots are not fun, I'm guessing. I grew up in a dirt road.
The whitest fucking thing.
I know. I grew up in a dirt road. We didn't have riots.
I mean, riots don't seem fun. I don't know why people do it. I don't know what socioeconomical issues would even cause that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it.
Just go, just go borrow some money.
If you live in a small town, a riot would be a fight between two people.
I don't get why people would bash that, like the windows of that beautiful Gucci store, you know?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
The haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
It's very Les Mis. Okay. That sounded terrible too. Okay. Have you ever been to band camp?
No.
Bible camp.
VBS, Vacation Bible School.
Ayo. Mm-hmm. Oh, that counts. Did you kiss any boys there?
No, I wasn't very
Did you kiss any
promiscuous.
girls? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, I wasn't very promiscuous. I was just kind of like a very like good kid. Wanted to do a good job doing whatever the task was at hand. Yeah.
Nerd coming through. Mm-hmm. Okay. Space camp.
I wanted to go to space camp. Oh, Cape Canaveral. I had the ads. I was like, Mom, this is it. This is it for us. And I never got to go. But I did end up living in Florida. I went to high school in Florida. I don't lead with that. You know why, Florida. But we did get to. They would take us outside when there was a space shuttle launch. Even though we were on the opposite side of Florida, you could still see very little. You could still see the shuttle going up. So they would take us outside when like John Glenn went up for his last time. This is aging me a bit because you can Google.
You're not getting any wrinkles. You're fine. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be
it's a good moisturizer and genetics.
Puppy. Forever puppy.
Yeah. So then it was cool because we're like, oh, that's it. And then we're like, and we're going to go back inside. That was it. But that's the closest I got to space camp, unfortunately. I really want to go, though.
Allergy camp? No.
No.
That's like
What's
this
There's
this
allergy
generation
camp?
has to send their children to allergy camps so they don't die. Okay, have you ever framed a puzzle?
No. I've gotten frustrated by puzzles and not finished.
Oh,
Yeah.
Take that puzzle.
Yeah.
You showed that puzzle who's boss.
I do.
Have you ever used the word huzzah?
Only ironically and to make fun of somebody, yeah. But I've never
At
intentionally.
At art school when you saw the
No.
sword? Huzzah!
Yeah, I was like, ooh, no, yeah, no. I've never intentionally used the word huzzah.
Okay. That's pretty cool then. Have you ever worn a costume more than one day, like going goth or something like that? Like, this is who I am now.
Oh, interesting. Like put on a new persona, as in like, no.
Not yet.
Not yet. I would say that I think, I think I'm just I'm costumes. I have like a uniforms for teams I've been on. And
Did you ever do musicals?
I do Halloween. I loved Halloween.
Yeah.
So I will always have a costume for that.
Did you do musicals growing up? Oh, okay. That's hence the vocal cords.
Yeah. Into the Woods.
Oh, you did that one?
I did Red Riding Hood.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was a brown girl with a blonde wig being Red Riding Hood. I was more tan back then.
They should just let you keep your hair.
Yeah. Well,
I dyed my hair red to be in a musical.
Annie. And then you didn't get the part of Annie?
No, it's like
Wouldn't
some
that be
bit part,
something?
too.
She cut her hair short.
They're like, what? I got a perm. My head looks like red pubes, and I didn't get the part. I'm going to kill myself.
You did that for the audition.
I brought in a dog. I did sing to my dogs, but I was very lonely.
Like, I dumped my parents so that I could really have that orphan experience.
I killed my parents.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to.
I moved in
moving into an orphanage.
with an alcoholic lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And a ne'er-do-well brother. Okay, we're just going to do the whole plot now. I time traveled back to the 20s.
Yeah. Get adopted by a rich bald man
Hey-o.
who has weird sexual chemistry with his assistant.
No.
Right? Did they have? They
got married.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Daddy Warbucks.
Daddy.
Yeah. I like a daddy. All right, let's go.
I'm in my daddy era.
Have you ever written fan fiction?
I mean, I think like writing a spec script is fan fiction. So, I mean, I took screenwriting classes at UCLA, and I would say that that's fan fiction.
I feel like that's a real job, though. That's not you like 13 years old being like, this is not how Harry Potter is supposed to end.
That's true. No, that's nerdy. I guess I was trying to just get jobs and learn like a marketable skill. Yeah,
that's a grown-up thing. No,
yeah,
that's cool.
I wrote a spec script. I think it was when Will and Grace was. Will and Grace wasn't on the air, but it was an episode of Will and Grace that I did.
Oh,
for a spec script. Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah,
so good. I would love to read your script, but I can't read. Can you read it to me?
I'll act it out for you.
I would pay good money for that. I would.
Check. Yeah.
Yes. Have you had a birthday party for a pet?
Yeah. Have you seen my Instagram account?
I
haven't seen a party. Well, I do a birthday portrait every year for my English bulldog, and that's the most Caucasian thing I do.
That is, yes. Yeah. That's very white woman Instagram.
Yeah, and I do a Halloween portrait for her every year, where she portrays a strong, independent woman in history.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram handle?
Her Instagram handle is at Daily Rose Dog. Then that's also a very Caucasian thing that I don't share. I don't lead with it, but Daily Rose Dog.
Daily.
Her name is Rose. She's the best.
Oh my God! I'm looking at this right now.
Can you put it on?
Did you see the Halloween portrait?
Put it up in post and scroll it. We scroll it and post on the video.
I'm just gonna make this whole video just this. Sorry, Lisandra, you're not in this podcast anymore.
It's just photos of Rose.
Oh my God!
She's so cute.
And you're a photographer, so I bet you can do it all at home.
Sorry, the pup. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting.
I know, it's so cute.
Can I come hang out with your dog?
Oh my God, he's gonna ovulate.
Yeah. I fucking love dogs. They're so sweet.
They're the best,
especially sweet baby Rosie.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch it.
I just got to some of the costume ones. Everyone go check this out. This is great.
I like the because I like the bulldog with the pearl earring is a really good one that's on there. And Marina Abramovich, the artist, is present. I did her, you know, she did the an installation in MoMA where she sat there in a different colored dress every day across and staring into somebody else's, making eye contact with everybody.
People start crying.
I put Rose in that, but as the bulldog is present. So, you know, she's been in different moments. I said she was there for when Marina needed a break. She
sounds like an amazing actress. Like she can just put herself into any role.
She tolerates my antics.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Bless. Do you have a tattoo?
I don't have any tattoos.
Not yet. Not with that attitude. All right.
But I love tattoos.
I'm afraid
I like tattoos on guys.
Do you? Like what kind of a tattoo on a guy do you like? And speak with your sexy voice.
Well, I like well-placed tattoos, especially if they're like frame the body really nicely.
What part of the body?
I'm doing this, so I would say like a chest to arm.
I thought that was situation. The buttocks. I thought you were talking about a tramp stamp.
Just like a nice tramp stamp.
It looks like you're grabbing someone's lady's parts.
I like a nice I like American traditional. I think I like good art. I'm a fan of art, so I like if somebody chooses a style and really goes with it, I admire that.
Like a sleeve that's all in one kind of theme.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like a black and like some people have like a sleeve that's like black and white and has like a whatever. It's just if it's done well.
It helps if the person's sexy, I think. Yeah.
Oh, did I not mention that?
It's just kind of in general for anything though.
He's like, did I not mention that? It definitely helps if the person is sexy. Whoops.
Oopsie daisy.
Didn't mention that.
Are you into bird watching? You're too young. Don't worry about it.
Do you already know the answer is no.
Do you watch Jeopardy on Netflix?
No, why? I didn't even know Jeopardy was on Netflix.
Yeah, I didn't know either. But it's a thing people do.
Okay, should I? Okay, I should.
Do you get
study?
I think they just like it lulls them to see smart answers and to know them themselves and all like.
Okay.
Do you get excited when you bought school supplies?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now I can't do you think that's a nerdy thing or do you think that's like universal?
No, I think it's kind of nerdy because I still get excited to go to Staples.
I do
like
too.
I don't know what it is about like office supplies and like like the Container Store. Oof.
All I need are these dividers, and the rest of my life is going to come together.
It makes you feel like you have some semblance of control because you're like, I know where everything is in my office, and then 3 days later, you're like, okay, I took everything out, and fuck. No,
yeah. These pens are what's gonna write my screenplay. I know that with this different colored notebook,
you can do it. Anything's possible. Yeah, I bought some green pens. So on my calendar, I have a paper calendar. I can write my exercise in green, and that's health and nature.
Oh, no. I love it.
That's going to make me go to the gym and be inside.
That's absolutely great.
Just needed a green pen. Yeah. All right. That's the end of all of our questions. Lisandra, you have been a delight. I'm sorry, but you're too sexy to be nerdy. You are just artsy.
Whoa.
Is this my judgment?
Nerds can be hot and sexy.
You are artsy.
Uh-huh.
And you're a good student.
Mm-hmm.
But you are high functioning and you're like, you can walk into any room and make everyone fall in love with you. I don't think that counts.
I'm a high functioning nerd.
Yes. Like you can talk to people, talk to strangers and communicate and make eye contact. And, but I love you and thank you for coming and being on my little show.
So fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. This is at my house. I don't.
Yeah, but it's fine. Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you so much. I love you.
What are you? Give your plugs again, real quick.
Lisandra Vázquez. You can find me on Instagram is where I update the most. It's Lisandra Lisandra __.
Two underscores.
The other ones were taken. Vazquez. It's
pronounced
Vázquez.
Lisandra
Vázquez. And then if you want a more simple way to find me, it's Hot Comics Pod and Hot Comics Live. Those are our two brands that we post under, and we have live shows and the podcast.
Well done.
Yay.
The end.
Yay.
And scene.